Hello, guys. What the? Oh. That was me doing my terrible impression, and you ruined it. It is still January, but we got an enigma this week where there's actually a pretty decent movie that got released in January.
You forgot Bad Boys?
That's right, this Bad Boys was pretty good. I apologize. It's 2 weeks in a row where we got pretty solid movies coming out in January. There must be something in the water. This is The Gentleman, starring everybody, apparently. Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, I don't know how to pronounce these names. Henry Golding, Colin Farrell, Hugh Grant. This cast is stacked. Directed by Guy Ritchie, who has made Aladdin, which is hilarious, the 2 Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr., and then Snatch, Lock, Stock, 2 Smoking Barrels, Revolver. I'm a big fan of Guy Ritchie, but he's definitely, it's an acquired, like, he's like Tarantino ripoff, but he's the best Tarantino ripoff. Fast-talking gangsters who like to talk about movies and music, and they all make terrible decisions that eventually are hilarious and work in their favor. This is that again. After he made a Disney movie, he's like, I need to wash my mouth out with something, and so he just made another gangster movie set in England. Matthew McConaughey is a marijuana empire owner, I guess is what you would call it. He runs this gigantic marijuana empire in England, and he wants to sell it. And so Henry Golding, and I already forgot his name. Dang it, he's really funny. Matthew Strong, I think is his name. They try to buy it from Matthew McConaughey because he wants to retire, and eventually stuff happens, but the whole story revolves around Hugh Grant. He's like a paparazzi freelance journalist, quote unquote, and he's trying to sell his blackmail to Matthew McConaughey's bodyguard so he can make a lot of money because he knows everything. He's been following them. And so this whole movie revolves around this one conversation, and it just cuts back and forth between what he saw, what happened, what didn't happen. And if you've seen a Guy Ritchie movie that isn't Aladdin before, or Sherlock Holmes, it's a lot more like style over substance, where it's really cool. There's a lot of weird, like, just random text bubbles, and the editing's wonky. It's all about, like, the experience of, it's just like having fun and watching these gangsters to talk about movies and music while they're shooting people. This is, if you've seen Snatch, if you've seen Lock, Stock, 2 Smoking Barrels, this is the same thing, which is not exactly a bad thing, because I love those movies, and it's been a really long time since he made another one. Guy Ritchie is great at writing, like, ridiculous characters who make terrible decisions. And this is that again. Colin Farrell and Hugh Grant are fantastic in this movie. Unfortunately, Colin Farrell's in this for maybe like 10 minutes, but he steals every scene that he's in. He's just trying to do good, but he's a coach, and his students keep just making terrible decisions, getting involved in gangsters. He's like, I'm sorry, let me do a favor for you. And he just keeps messing up, or his kids keep messing up, so he has to fix it for him. And then Hugh Grant he's just having a blast in this movie. He is a slimy, just like picture like a paparazzo, and he's that guy, but with a Cockney British accent, which is very different from what we're used to him seeing as this, suave, handsome rom-com star. It's got its issues where a lot of stuff doesn't make sense, or like it cuts back and forth between different scenes, and it's a little jarring. And one of some pet peeves that I know people have is if they do what ifs, like this whole scene happens and then they're like, no, that didn't happen. He's like, okay, I'm making it up. So it was like 10 minutes of just like fantasy. That happens a few times in this movie. So that may turn you off, but again, it's fun. Like it's all about the experience in Guy Ritchie movies. He's not trying to change the world. He's just trying to entertain you with lots of swearing. I can't do a British accent to save my life. So from a Cockney accent.
Oh boy.
What English stuff?
Out of 10.
Out of 10, I would give this it sounds terrible. I'm gonna give it an 8 in an American accent, because I cannot do a British accent to save my life. This movie is solid. If you like Guy Ritchie movies, you know exactly what's gonna happen, which is a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. We need more of this. It's just a good reason to see Matthew McConaughey and Hugh Grant act out of what we're used to them seeing. It's just fun. It's a fun movie, which is the whole point of going to the movies. It's having a great time, and you'll have a great time at The Gentleman.
Zach's gonna be gone for a little bit, so he's gonna be gone for a bit, but don't worry. He's gonna come back for the Oscars, and we're gonna make it really fun, and we'll see him in a month, so don't worry. If you like Zach content, it's gone for a month, but it'll be back in a month.
It'll be okay.
You'll be fine.
I'll miss you more than you miss me, I promise.
You'll be fine, Gov.
You'll be fine, governor. I can't do British.